Hi, welcome back to another week. I hope you guys are all doing well and I hope you enjoyed the weekend. So, this week I have two funny books that I want to share with you, and they're about the pitfalls of technology, or actually the pitfalls of the overuse of technology. Um, One of the books is called Good Night iPad. You can see it down here. And the other book is called If You Give a Mouse an iPhone. Now, Goodnight iPad is a spoof off of a traditional story called Goodnight Moon. And the author of Goodnight iPad, and also If You Give Your Mouse an iPhone, is Anne Droid. Now, if you say that pretty quick, Android, you'll realize it sounds like Android. So the name Android is actually a pseudonym for David Milgram. And if you're not familiar with what pseudonym is, it is a fictitious name that authors sometimes use to hide themselves and to hide their identity. And in this case, the actual author, David Milgram, did that just kind of to be funny. So Android, the pseudonym, for If You Give a Mouse an iPhone and Goodnight iPad, is the author of these. And again, it's supposed to be kind of funny. Well, anyways, in the book, Goodnight iPad, we are reminded in a comical way of how all of our electronic gadgets can be really chaotic and distracting, especially at times where we really need to just kind of slow down and wind down and rest and even go to sleep. It's a really cute, funny book. Now, in the book, If You Give a Mouse an iPhone, this story centers around this main character here, this little mouse named Applesauce. And it shows just how distracted Applesauce here gets once he gets an iPhone or a phone in his hand and he becomes consumed with this phone. Applesauce misses out on all kinds of awesome and cool things that are going on around him. He gets confused about what's actually happening around him and kind of lost, and he finds himself into some crazy and even dangerous situations. So this week, what I'm asking of everybody is I would like for you to read these two books, this Goodnight iPad, and also If You Give a Mouse an iPhone. And I understand that we can't go to the libraries, unfortunately, right now. But if you do a Google search for this online, you will find both of these books here. You can read them, and oftentimes there's short videos about the books or there's somebody reading them aloud to you. So take a look at these two books. They're funny and they're cute. I think you'll really like them. And when you are looking at this book, specifically If You Give a Mouse an iPhone, stop and think about what pitfalls and what negative consequences Applesauce here found himself in because he was consumed and attached to that iPhone. And stop and then think about your dependence on all of the electronic devices around you and how you might be overusing these. Think about how often you might, be involved with like your parents' phone or your cell phone if you have one, an iPad or laptop or computer in your home, a gaming device, your television, and all the apps that go along with all these electronic devices. How often do you use these, or are you involved with using these things? And how do they negatively affect your interactions with your family and maybe your friends? So think about that after you read these books. Then also stop and think about how you can cut back on the overuse of these electronic devices. Could you maybe use certain electronic devices an hour or two a day, or maybe 3 times a week, or just on the weekends? Maybe you can set a timer to help you keep track of just how long you're on certain devices. Silence your devices, put them on vibrate, so every time that they ding or chime, you don't jump to take a look at it and pick it up to use it again. Take your device when you go to sleep and keep it outside of your room so it doesn't distract you. Put it in the dining room or the living room, somewhere where it's not right beside you when you're trying to rest. So think about how your electronic devices can negatively affect your relationships, and then stop and think about what you can do to curb that. So those are the two tasks that I have for you after you read both of these books. Technology can be a wonderful thing, and I realize that. It's the way it's allowing me to keep in touch with you while we're out of school. So it's got a lot of positives. But it can also have some pitfalls, and we need to just be careful about that we don't fall into that trap. We don't want to overuse our devices so much that it negatively affects our relationships with our family and robs us of this quality time with them. So be careful about that as we're all stuck in the house together. Try not to be so overly consumed with your devices versus your family. All right. Take care, and I will talk with you soon. Bye-bye.